Hello, Ruby here. If you are new to this channel, I am a professional tarot reader, psychic, archetypal astrologer, and just like a big nerd and lover of tarot and oracle decks. And this video is going to be my deck selections for Maven 2023. So if you are unfamiliar with Maven, Maven is one of the Sabbats on the pagan wheel of the year. It correlates with the fall equinox and also the beginning of Libra season. I am burning my Maven candle while I record this video. And Maven is, some people call it like the pagan Thanksgiving, but the story of Maven is really the Celtic descent into the underworld. So the invitation as we move through this particular Sabbat is really finding balance and then letting go of what we want to shed before we move into the winter months. So we're beginning our descent into the underworld, into the fallow time, and we're assessing, okay, where is there like an invitation for more balance in my life? What am I ready to release? This might be a time where if we have deity work in our practice, we might start working with the dark goddess, invoking underworld energies. This is the time of the year I really start doing work with Hecate. So these decks reflect either some themes around Maven, or I'm just feeling really personally called to work with them. If you are new to Sabbat work, I highly recommend this Maven ritual kit. This is from Magic Fairy Candles, which is the metaphysical store that I read tarot at a few times a week. And this Maven ritual guide is honestly like the best guide I have ever found for working with this Sabbat. So there is a little like discount code that I have for Magic Fairy Candles. I can put in the description. They like didn't pay me or ask me to promote this. I'm just really impressed and a big fan of this tool that they put together. So regardless if you're a seasoned practitioner or you're like brand new to working with the Wheel of the Year, that is a resource I just wanted to share. Now moving on to my list for tarot and oracle decks I'm going to be working with for this Sabbat. It's oracle heavy. I've shared this before, but I'm a lot pickier about my tarot decks. And when I connect to them, I really connect to them and I want to work with them for a long time. So I've got 2 tarot decks on this list and then a little handful of oracle decks. As always, this is just my opinion and what I'm feeling drawn to this season from my collection. So there's plenty of decks not on this list that would be amazing for the Sabbat. This is just my list based on what I'm drawn to and what currently exists in my collection, which is like a modest collection for the work I do, but it's always growing. I don't get a deck unless I feel really called to it. So the first deck on the list is Tarot Mucha. The artwork is by Julia Magalia and Barbara Nocenzo. I probably butchered those names. This is published by Lo Scarabeo. This is kind of like a Rider-Waite knockoff deck, but I really like it. So these are the backings. And to me, these backings are so just, the imagery is so indicative of Mabon. So we have these like oranges and like burnt siennas, which are very fall forward. And then we have like grapes and apples. Both of these fruits are correlated with the Sabbats. Just turned my AC off because I knew it was about to go off and that would have ruined the vibe. And then I just pulled a few a few cards from this deck that I think just like really capture why this is a deck where I feel like the energy it just really aligns with Maven. So we have like this card right here. This is the Wheel of Fortune. And just like look at all of this imagery. It feels like fall. This is the 9 of Pentacles and we see all these grapes. And again, just like the color palette. I'm a big fan of this deck. And even though it's like more of like this lighter, airier, like just like Rider-Waite knockoff, like you wouldn't think it's like this like deep deck, because when we are like approaching and moving through the Sabbat, we are beginning our descent into the underworld. Some of these cards, like I feel like they do have that tone. So this is the Tarot Mucha deck. Like, I don't think that this is like how do I say this? You probably don't like need this deck in your collection, especially if you're just like starting out and you're picking and choosing. It took me a while before I got this one. But there's look at the pumpkins. Like, this is so fall equinox Maven vibes. But I just, for some reason, I just really love this deck. So that is Tarot Mucha. And then the next tarot deck on the list is a deck I just got. And all of the cards fell off the box. This is the Mind's Eye Tarot by Olivia Rose. I'm obsessed with this deck. Look at the backings. Okay, so this is the deck box. It's this beautiful mat. It's published by US Games. This is the guidebook. It's a beautiful guidebook. Let's look at it together. So every card has like a full page color reproduction, and then it has a little blurb about the card meeting on the next page. Now, this is also heavily based and influenced by Rider-Waite like imagery, and I find the card meetings to be pretty surface level. We're not diving super deep. This isn't the Mary L Tarot. This isn't the Ritual Tarot. This would be like an amazing deck for somebody that's just beginning their practice. But there's something about this deck and the energy of it that I just want to live in the world of this deck. It's very like liminal in nature. And as we move through the Sabbath of Maven, we are beginning our entry point into this liminal time. Fall is a very magical liminal time for me. We're approaching Samhain. And like, again, even though this is like a light fairy type deck, it has these like darker tones that to me are very evocative of like beginning a descent into the underworld. So this is the Mind's Eye Tarot. The cardstock kind of reminds me of the Compendium of Witches cardstock, which I honestly don't like that cardstock for Compendium of Witches. But because this deck is like black, and because of the color palette, I love this cardstock for this deck. And when I first got it, I was like, the artwork is so pretty. I love the aesthetic. I love the artwork. I love the feel of the cards. But the images don't really evoke a lot of emotion for me. And again, it's very like Rider-Waite based. And the imagery doesn't go super deep. Again, this is like not the Mary L Tarot. So I was wondering if I would get a good reading from it. And the readings I get from this deck are really spot on, and they're really unique. Like, this is so Maven to me. The oranges. So that is the Mind's Eye Tarot. Like, there's nothing about this like that you might think screams fall equinox, besides maybe some of the colors. But I'm just feeling so drawn to work with this deck. I feel like the energy of the deck is suited for this Sabbath. You could really work with this deck all year round though. But I'm going to be working with it as we approach this Sabbath as the wheel of the year turns towards the fall equinox. Okay, so the next deck on this list, we're now entering Oracle territory, is the Season of the Witch Maven Oracle by Lorianne Anderson and Juliet Diaz. This is published by Rockpool. I recently got this deck. I don't have anything like it in my collection. This is the inside of the box. I love like the box. I love the backings. I love like the gilded edges. Like, look at this orange. I'm obsessed. So this is a deck I probably would have never bought for myself, even like 6 months ago. This is the guidebook. We've got the little orange like back and moon on both sides of the box. Like, the design is just wonderful. The design for this and the design for the Mind's Eye Tarot both remind me like an indie deck. But all of the decks on this list are mass produced. You can get them all on Amazon. They should all be like under $35, okay? So every deck on this list is affordable. So this is like the guidebook. You get a reproduction of the card, and then you get a whole lot of information for each card. That's also, it's like, you know, we get like a good amount of descriptions in the guidebook, but not so much it's overwhelming. And let me just show you some of these images as I keep talking. So like I said, I probably wouldn't have even bought this deck 6 months ago because I was like, well, you can only use it for one season. But I'm obsessed with it. I think it's so cute. It's so just evocative of this particular Sabbath. And I already work with decks seasonally and cyclically, so it makes sense that I would have decks in my collection that correlate with each Sabbath. I love this deck so much. I already bought the Samhain version of it, but I haven't opened it yet. I'm waiting until we get closer to Samhain to start working with it. But you know, it's like, it's a little, I don't want to say like frivolous, that's not the right word. But yeah, if you keep your deck collection really pared down, maybe skip this one. But if you are a collector and you appreciate like a well thought out oracle, then this one is worth it. And it's so unique. I don't have anything else like it in my collection. It will really help you tap into the energy of this particular time of year. And if you are a pagan or a practitioner of the craft, part of our work is tapping in and aligning with the energies of the earth grid, the energies of the Sabbaths. So I think this is a really useful tool. I'm really excited to be working with it. I'm so glad I got it. So glad. And even though it is a seasonal deck and, you know, you'll probably only work with that for like a month, 2 months out of the year, I would consider it. It's fun. I mean, just like, how could you resist? Okay, so the next deck on this list just came out. It's the Medicine Heart Oracle by Alana Fairchild. Now, when I received this deck in the mail, it was like almost like getting, like, the only way I can describe it, it was like getting one of like the new Harry Potter book that just came out. Like, Alana Fairchild, her decks can be so good. So good. And this is probably like the most floored or impressed I've been by an Alana Fairchild Oracle since the Kali Oracle came out. So this is the box. It's gorgeous. Look at these gorgeous colors. I still haven't even taken out this piece of paper. This came in the mail like 3 days ago. Look at this beautiful burnt sienna, which is just so perfect for this time of year. So perfect for Maven. Now look at this guidebook. This is a meaty guidebook. And if you don't want to do a good bit of reading with your oracle pull, this probably is not the deck for you. These are the backings. My favorite Alana Fairchild backings ever. Ever. And Alana Fairchild, like, some of her decks are like my favorite oracle decks of all time. And oh my God, look at this. So let me just like show you the guidebook. There's a bunch of information in the beginning. And then honestly, this is like one of the most beautiful Alana Fairchild guidebooks. Like, I don't think we usually get like color reproductions in her guidebooks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think so. And then we're getting a lot of information about each card. And then the healing processes for each card are hefty. So I am just starting to work with this deck, and I'm literally going to start waking up earlier in the morning so that when I do my tarot and oracle pull, I have time. So this is a deck you're going to want to spend time with. But like the Alana Fairchild decks, they're not just like decks, they're like spiritual initiations. And the reason why I have it on this list is because I'm going to be working with it as we move through Maven. And this deck is shamanic in nature. And we are entering a time when the earth is just like the veil lifts on the earth plane. And we have access to move between worlds. Like a greater access than we have at other points and times of the year. And just like the color palette of this deck, like this is a deck you could work with all year long. But there's just something about it that aligns with this energy, that aligns with this descent into the fall, with this descent into the liminal time, and just like all these burnt oranges and these reds, just like just like the color palette of this. This is one of my favorite cards. So, you know, if you work with shamanic healing practices, if you feel really aligned to working with power animals, if you do journey work with animal guides, I think you have to get this one. Like, I don't think that this is one you would regret getting. Again, unless you just like aren't a fan of like really meaty guidebooks. If you're just like, I don't want to do that much reading when I pull a card, this deck probably isn't for you. I'll probably never use this deck with clients. This is not like a clarifier for tarot. This is like this is a tool for spiritual growth and initiation and healing. So that is the Medicine Heart Oracle. It says Shamanic Wisdom of the Divine Feminine. That is the subtitle for this deck. And I am so impressed with it, and I'm so excited to start working with it. Just in case you're curious, my daily draws for now, probably until the end of the month, or at least until we like fully move through the equinox, so like the 23rd, 24th of September. It's going to be this deck. And then these decks. Either one. Maybe more of this, because I'm just like really feeling this energy. Those are going to be the decks that I am like doing daily draws and devotional work with every morning. Literally waking up earlier, so I have time to do this before I take my kid to school. Okay, 2 more decks on the list. The next one is Through the Eyes of the Soul by Cheryl Youngbrook Rose. The story of Mabon comes from Celtic mythology. It is the Celtic story of the descent into the underworld, not unlike the story of Persephone and Demeter or Inanna. And this deck is like my Celtic shamanism deck. If you are looking for a deck to work with like Celtic shamanic practices, you feel drawn to like druidry, Celtic shamanism, this deck is for you. So just like cards like this to me really align with this Sabbath. And I find that this deck wants to talk to me about finding balance, which is one of the ways we like tap in to Maven energy. Like I said, it correlates with the beginning Libra season. So we're really finding balance. We're giving gratitude and we're assessing, okay, where might I find more balance in my life? And it's just the energy from this deck is just like, it's unique. It's potent. So that is Through the Eyes of the Soul by Cheryl Youngbuck Rose. And then the last deck on this list, I also included in my decks for fall list. And that is the Wild Woman Oracle by Cheyenne Zarate. This is also a rock pool deck. I forgot to say that this is published by Blue Angel. So, oh my gosh, I just dropped them everywhere. Mercury retrograde is over. It ended today. You know, I actually don't think it's stationed direct quite yet. I think we're in like the final few hours of Mercury retrograde. So anything I do or say in this video that is wonky and clumsy, I do not hold myself responsible for. Okay, so this is the inside of the deck. This is the guidebook. I think I already have an unboxing for this on my channel, so I won't talk about this for too long. These are the edges. Love these backings. And this deck, to me, it also wants to talk about balance. Like, this is like a deck that has a lot of dark feminine energy to it. And as we move through the Sabbath, we are like coming into our time where we connect with the dark goddess. That is part of our practice. And this deck is just like cozy. It's such a cozy deck. And once we hit the equinox, it's like we're officially in like the cozy time of year. So if you work with dark feminine energy, wild feminine energy, if you love the book Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, and if you just like want a deck in your collection that's like a warm, fuzzy blanket, like look at this. This is so Maven and Samhain. This would be a fun little one to add to your collection. And you can really work with this one all fall long into winter. So that is the Wild Woman Oracle by Cheyenne Zarate, is maybe how you pronounce her name. And that is all the decks on my list. As I said before, all of these decks you can purchase on Amazon, or you can find them maybe in your metaphysical store near you. I know that like Amazon isn't the greatest, but I just know you can get them there. You can only get 2 decks from this list. This one, like I got this deck 3 days ago and I'm already like, this one. Especially if you are an Alana Fairchild fan. If you like the Sacred Rebels Oracle, if you like the Isis Oracle, the Kali Oracle, the White Light Oracle, like you're gonna like this one. And then, oh, maybe the Mind's Eye Tarot. These two together are a really beautiful pairing. Maybe those two. All right. Well, that's it for today. Clock in at 23 minutes. Not too bad. As always, I hope you are doing well. I am sending you love, sending you blessings as we move through the Sabbath, as the wheel of the year turns. I can do these types of videos for every Sabbath if you would like. So if this video is helpful, if you enjoyed it, give it a like, follow the channel, and then let me know in the comments, and maybe we'll make this a reoccurring thing. Have a great day.